Hello there, we are back with part 2 as a look at these extra scenes in the premiere episode for season 8. This video will focus on the scenes of what appeared to be OldMan Rick. Now, there's a high chance this video will contain spoilers for future episodes of AMC's The Walking Dead. You've been warned. With that, let's get to it. There's 4 clips in total throughout the episode, and when put together form a short 2-minute scene. The scene starts out with a close-up on a cane, then it moves on to some flowers, an alarm clock, and then an overhead shot of Rick Grimes waking up. However, this is clearly a different Rick Grimes. He gets out of bed, walks down into the living room, and is greeted by Michonne, Carl, and a much older Judith. They talk about a festival, and Judith walks her father out the front door to see the owl, and we close this scene with what appears to be Alexandria, though it looks quite a bit different. Okay, so what stands out from this scene? First off, Rick looks much older. His beard is longer, more gray, and his hair is cut short. Also, he's now walking on a cane. Judith is older, so with these two visuals, it's pretty obvious to anyone that this is either in the future or Rick is dead and this is his version of heaven. It seems that AMC is already giving us a sneak peek into the next story arc, which is called The Whisperer War. Now, I can spend hours talking about who the Whisperers are and what happens in the comics with this story arc, but I'll try to keep it brief. The Whisperers are a nomad group of survivors who believe that the zombie apocalypse was mankind's reset, and humans are now meant to live like the animals they are. They wear suits made of zombie skins and move freely among the herd of walkers. They get their name by the way they communicate through whisperers, as to not bring attention from the zombies they are walking with. This story arc takes place after the events of All Out War and begins with issue 127 titled A New Beginning. In this issue, we're introduced to some new survivors and some changes to existing characters. When we finally get to see Rick, it's when he wakes up, gets out of bed, and reaches for his cane. We don't see his face at first, just him getting dressed. When we finally do get to see him a few pages in, his looks have drastically changed. He looks older with a longer beard and shorter hair. As mentioned, he now needs a cane to walk from a leg injury he sustained during this fight with Negan. Going downstairs, Carl comes in asking to talk to him. Rick then heads out the front door and we get our first look at the newly rebuilt Alexandria, which was destroyed during the war with Negan. While Rick is handling his business, Andrea rides into a part of Alexandria currently being rebuilt to meet up with a man named Sadiq. She's checking in on the status of the upcoming fair. Remember that survivor Rick and Carl ran into from the last video? I told you he'd be brought up again. The short 2-minute scene of all the clips combined from the show play out very similar to this part in the comics. Rick wakes up, close up on him showing his look has changed a lot, being greeted by his lover, going downstairs and running into Carl, the talk of an upcoming fair. If Alexandria gets destroyed like it does in the comics, this would explain why it looks completely differently when Rick goes outside. Besides Judith not being there, there's no doubt what part of the comics this scene is taken from. What is not answered though is when this scene will take place in the show. Now this is a hard one to answer. AMC has a track record of shooting one volume of the comics over each half of the season. Being that All Out War is 2 volumes or 12 issues, this would mean it would last the full 16 episodes this season. However, the way this is played out in the comics, it would be very hard to imagine AMC stretching it over a full season, especially since a lot of what happens over these volumes has already happened in the show. Such as Eugene getting captured, that's already happened in the show, and a female survivor being taken hostage by Negan, that's already happened in the show. Both of those are full issues in the comics. But when we look at the season 8 trailer, it looks like AMC, for at least the first half, is going to focus a lot on the outpost attacks, which only takes place over 2 issues in the comics. I'm going to close this by taking a quick look back at part 1 video that I released yesterday. Given the mid-season nature of AMC shows, there's an even greater possibility that these events might take place at 2 different times. First, right after the attacks on the outpost, and second, after Negan retaliates. I'll try to make a second theory video on that one to kind of more explain where I'm going at with that. Lastly, to the 20 people that's probably going to watch this, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead, and I make these not for money or anything like that, but to spread my love and knowledge of the comics to fans of the shows that maybe didn't even know this stuff existed. If you found this enjoyable or interesting in any way whatsoever, even a very, very small way, please like and share these, help spread the words. It only helps with the motivation of making more of these videos. Until next time, keep on walking.